a sunrise, sprinkle it with dew, cover it with chocolate and a miracle or two. The candy man, ooh, the candy man can.
Jerry, I was fortunate enough to know him. You know, it wasn't a very long time that I knew him here. But like I say, you didn't need to meet him too many times to know exactly what kind of guy he was. I get a little emotional even just thinking about it because it's, like I said, it's a family, and I feel like he was part of my family.
Oh, did you hear about Ole? Well, he was walking down the street one day. Oh, here. Okay, I'll change it to a joke that I know. It's like, well, Ole's mom was out by the seashore, and she had her grandchild out there, and like a big wave came in and you know, washed the kid out to sea. And then she goes, "Oh Lord, bring him back." And a big wave comes in and brings him back, and she looked down and he goes, "He had a hat." That's it.
We could tell you funny stories about the Christmas party. And he loved to dance, and we all danced. And I remember looking over, and he was on the floor doing the snake. Just thoroughly enjoying himself.
Everyone talks about Ole. No one knows the punchline. I think secretly, I think my dad always kind of tried to make it about my mom secretly without saying it. If it involved a woman, nothing degrading, nothing horrible, but just kind of like a ta-da, like a ha-ha. And maybe I was the only one that saw that because I lived under the same roof with them.
We had this machine called a scoring machine, and it was a machine that slit the backer on the decals, and you fed these sheets in, one at a time, and it was a really boring job. So you'd have this big stack of decals and you're feeding it in. And I remember sitting there with my hand on my hip doing this, and he walked by and he goes, "2 hands, you can do it with 2 hands." So I was like, okay. So I was doing this, and then he took me aside later and he goes, "Now, by the way," he said, "a lot of times I'm gonna yell at you for something that you probably didn't even do. Probably the guy next to you did it, but I'm gonna yell at you just to make an example of you." So just wanted to let you know that.
Back in 2001, my mom was dying, and I was having a really rough day, and he came out and talked to me, and I'll never forget that. And then she died a few days later, and he was there for the funeral, and the funeral was in Plymouth. It was during the week, and he took the time to take out of his day to come and pay respects to my mother, who he'd met a few times, but I mean, that was just the kind of person he was.
There is one story about Jerry that I would like to share, and this was several years ago. It was shortly after I started here, and I used to come in every once in a while in the evening later, and one time I came in, it was pretty late. It was going on 11 o'clock. No lights were on in the plant, but I knew somebody was here, so I didn't really know what was going on. And as I walked back into the area that we're in right now, there was one light on. There was one light on this die cutter right here. And I heard the die cutter running, and I still didn't know what was going on. As I walked around the corner, I saw Jerry sitting there, and Jerry was running the die cutter, and he was cutting what we refer to as Jerry Kids. And as you can see from the back of this die, Jerry Kids, it's part of Christ Child, Clothe the Child. And it's something that we have done for years, and something that is very close and was always close to Jerry's heart was helping others out, and one being children. And so every year, that's what we do. We offer our service to cut the Christ Child dolls that are put out by Martin Supermarket and offered for some of the local children. So just a neat story, and that is basically what exemplifies Jerry's heart, his kindness, what he has done for many other people in the community.
We found some old joke books of his when we cleaned the office out, and it was about Ole. So it wasn't like he made that up. He was using others' material, but I can remember vividly watching him walk the production floor with the candy, the mints, and telling the joke, asking how somebody was doing, presenting them with their piece of candy for the day, and just wishing them well. And I think that's genuine right there.